there, and welcome. If the IELTS matching headings task has ever made you just want to scream, well, you've come to the right place. Let's jump right in and turn what might be the most dreaded part of the reading test into one of your biggest strengths. So here's what we're going to cover. First up, we'll figure out what this task is all about. Then I'm going to share the one golden rule you absolutely have to know. After that, we'll walk through a step-by-step strategy, point out the common traps to watch out for, and wrap it all up with how to practice and make these skills stick. All right, section 1. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is this matching headings task? It can really feel like you're trying to solve some impossible puzzle, but I promise you, there's a logic to it. Yeah, does this look familiar? That little jolt of panic when you see this massive list of headings next to a wall of text? It's totally designed to feel overwhelming. But the secret, really, is not to let it get to you. When you boil it all down, your job is actually pretty simple. You read a paragraph, and you find the one heading that sums up the main point. That's it. We're not looking for a tiny detail or a random example. We're hunting for the main idea. And you've got to know the rules of the game, right? First off, there are always going to be more headings than you need, so don't worry if you have some left over. Those are just there to distract you. And just remember, it's always 1-to-1. One paragraph gets one heading, period. Okay, moving on to section 2. And honestly, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. This is the real secret to success. And here it is, the golden rule. I want you to just burn this into your brain. Match the main idea. The test makers just love to throw in headings that match a name or a date or some little fact from the paragraph. Those are traps. Your job is to ignore all that noise and find the heading that captures what the entire paragraph is about. And the easiest way to stick to that golden rule? Just ask yourself one simple question after you read each paragraph. So, what is this paragraph mostly about? If you can answer that in your own words, you're pretty much all the way there. Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually do this in the test? Let's get practical. Section 3 is your step-by-step strategy to turn this idea into actual points on your score sheet. Here it is, your 7-step roadmap. And pay close attention to the order here because it's crucial. You read one paragraph first. Then, and this is key, you figure out the main idea in your own head before you even look at their options. Only then do you scan the headings, find the one that matches the meaning, check any that looks similar, cross out the one you use, and hey, if you get stuck, just skip it and come back. No big deal. And here's a little pro tip for that first step. Don't feel like you have to read every single word. Just skim it, but really focus on those first couple of sentences and the very last sentence. A lot of the time, that's exactly where the author puts the main point. This right here, this just says it all. This is how people get it wrong versus how you're going to get it right. The trap is seeing a word, let's say technology, in the paragraph and instantly grabbing the heading that also says technology. The right way is to understand the message about technology and find the heading that matches that message. It's a huge difference. Now, step 5 is super important. You're definitely going to find 2 headings that both seem kind of right. Let's say one is the financial cost of new tech and another is the challenges of new tech. If the paragraph mentions cost, but also talks about training people and other problems, well, challenges is the bigger, broader idea that covers everything. That's your answer. All right, so we have our strategy. Now let's talk about defense. Section 4 is all about the common tricks the test is going to throw at you and how you can just sidestep them like a pro. So here are the big ones. Don't get pulled in by a heading that only talks about one specific example or matches a name or a number. That's just a detail, not the main idea. And please don't freak out if you see a word you don't know. You can almost always figure out the main point from everything else around it. And remember, this is not slow, careful reading. Just always remember what your mission is. You are skimming for the main idea. That's it. You are not a student who has to memorize every single detail for a final exam. Find the main idea, match it, and move on. All right, let's bring it all home with our last section. This is where we make sure these skills are locked in with a quick mental checklist and a really powerful practice tip. Okay, so before you write down your answer, just quickly ask yourself this first question. Does this heading really describe the entire paragraph or just one little piece of it? Next up, check yourself. Is this actually the main idea, or is it just a rephrasing of one interesting sentence I saw? And for the final check, just take one last glance at the other options. Are you absolutely positive there isn't another heading that fits even better, one that really captures the whole message more perfectly? This last look can really save you from some silly mistakes. And here is my absolute favorite practice tip for you. When you're studying, after you read a paragraph, look away from the page and actually say out loud, okay, this paragraph is basically about. By forcing yourself to say it, you make your brain process the main idea before it gets influenced by the options they give you. It's a total game changer. So, when you really get down to it, this whole scary task isn't about having a huge vocabulary or being the world's fastest reader. It's all about one skill. So, the only question left is, are you ready to go out there and master the main idea?